Ever since I was a young kid, I wanted to talk to successful people and entrepreneurs and learn from them. Fast forward to today, I'm fortunate enough to be surrounded by a ton of successful self-made entrepreneurs who are achieving amazing accomplishments. This is a show where I sit down with them, I chat with them about business, all the ups, all the downs. Welcome to the Tom Wang Show. Sweet, episode 7. We're gonna roll. Let's go. Well, we got a special guest today. Name is Ryan. First time meeting.
It is. This is
which is different than all my other guests because I've known them for a long time. And to be honest, like when I interview them, a lot of it's like for my audience. Right. And the questions I ask, I kind of already know the answer.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah. Bessie, how'd you start? I'm like, you know, I know Tony for so long. I know how he got started. But it's interesting for me this time to just kind of ask you a lot of these questions because I don't really know you. We're in the same group.
Yeah.
But you are very active in dropping a lot of cool golden nuggets. I'm like, holy shit, this guy knows a lot. So share us with the story, man. Like, I know it's a long one, but
yeah. So I'm 38. I guess I'm kind of older in this space for compared to a lot of the guys that you see around, or at least that are participating in a lot of the circles or whatever. But I really got started in this stuff like in the 90s. Like my dad was always super into tech, and the internet was like something that we had when we were like, oh God, it's been like 1994, 1995. It wasn't like it is today. There was no like World Wide Web, or it was just kind of emerging. And he came home one day and he was like, he had this box of discs, and it was he had this. It was for a piece of software called Mosaic, which was like the beginning of Mozilla, essentially.
Right.
And it was one of the first web browsers. And anyways, he brought this thing home and he was showing it to me, and like I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I've been like entrepreneurial since I was like pretty little, like lemonade stands and all the prototypical signs of entrepreneurialism, right? So like we pretty much right out the gates, we started like playing. Me and one of my partners, who's still my partner now, one of my partners. Started like trying to figure out HTML, and we did like the GeoCities thing. I don't know if you remember that. Yahoo bought them, and then around 9/11, we launched kind of like our first website, and it was a website that was like it was trivial. It was like jokes and funny pictures, like basically are now memes. And we had video, and we actually had like these funny videos that we were curating from around the web. And there's like we have newspaper clippings that we were one of like the first guys to do video, but it was expensive. So, I mean, we dropped it. We did a lot of newsletter advertising back then, and we had about 500,000 subscribers, and that was like 2001. So a long time ago. But that was just kind of where the roots of all this came from. Mm-hmm. In mid 2000s, we got into some other stuff. We're into like CPA deals, affiliate marketing.
Okay.
Did a lot of stuff in like those emoji packages. I hate to say it, but it was, I guess at the end of the day, it was adware. It wasn't like, I guess all adware is bad, but it was tied to adware. But sometimes you start on the wrong foot, but you finish on the right foot. But went from there into ringtone subscription service. We had a big ringtone subscription service, which eventually got shut down by the Florida Attorney General. Basically, kids were able to subscribe way too easily, and it was really tough to unsubscribe. Like, I don't know if you remember those numbers you could text, what is it, like 12 years ago now, and it was like a short code, and every week you get sent like some popular ringtone.
Oh, yeah.
So we were into that.
Your Motorola Razr.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was fun. Anyways, so we were doing really well with that. We were investing all of our money in like a forex basically scheme. It turned out to be a scheme. It was registered with BC Securities Commission and everything like that. But we had a pretty crappy turn of events around the beginning of, I want to say 2008, and basically the Florida Attorney General shut us down, or shut everybody down more or less, and that business just like died. And it was a subscription-based business too. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was like 25, 26, and we were doing like $100,000 a month. And I thought I was like gonna retire soon, like we're done. But so that got shut down. We were allowed to keep whoever we had, but we weren't allowed to get anybody new. And so we're like, all right, well, we got this money in the bank. We'll build something else up. And like 3 weeks later, we got a letter in the mail that the foreign currency trading business that we were involved in was a Ponzi scheme. So we lost all that money. That money flush. It was like 100 grand down the drain in a day. And I was like, I had two houses at the time, or I had a house in Coquitlam and I had a condo, which I was trying to sell. I had like an expensive car payment and I had no income. Yeah. Like one of the most stressful.
Typical like 25-year-old who made too much money and didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So just
gone, like completely gone. Like I was saving like $100 a month into mutual funds. I knew nothing about money, right? Like, and like, dude, I would be like driving and I would just start screaming because I couldn't tell anybody about it. I didn't really want to like be vulnerable. And like it came down, I wound up getting a job selling cell phones, which is like, we started another business, but the revenue that was generating wasn't like anywhere near enough to survive, especially on like the standard of living that I was used to. And like, it was crazy, man, because I went from like, you know, going out for lunch every day, getting like an appetizer and a proper meal, and to like being like going to Royal Canadian Superstore and getting like a case of macaroni and cheese and like a big, like the family pack of ground beef, and then rationing it into portions that 2 people could eat because we were like trying to get our food as cheap as possible.
damn.
Yeah.
Well, you had it, but you said you sold cell phones, so you actually had a 9-to-5 job.
So I didn't until this happened. So
Yeah.
basically we were launching this new business, and I would be working during the day on the business, and then at night I would go and sell cell phones at Bell.
Damn.
And that was embarrassing. Like for me, like that was like, just like when I saw people that I knew, I would be like trying to tuck out into the back where nobody could see me, right? Because, in my head I had this like reputation or this identity that
You made it.
I made it, right? And
Yeah.
now I'm like, what the hell? I'm working in the fucking mall. Can I swear?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm working in the mall, right? And like at first it was hard for me.
Yeah.
And so I can actually remember at this one point while I was working there, I'm like, well, you know what, listen, Ryan, I'm like, you're here and you're selling phones. You don't have like an option right now. There's nothing else that you can go and do. I mean, you could probably find a job back in tech or something like that, but let's just like learn sales. Mm-hmm. Let's learn sales. And I'm sure at some point in your life that can probably be used for something else. Right. And like, I wound up, probably the second year that I was there, I was only working 20 hours a week. I wasn't working full time, but I was the second highest, producing salesperson in BC for Bell. So like, you know what, if you're ambitious at whatever it is, like, you know, even if you're in a crappy situation, like I'm not trying to like,
well, I think it's like winners win. Like it doesn't matter what game you play. Like winners have the winning mentality, and you put them in any situation, they'll figure it out.
Totally.
Right? So,
and I'm not saying that I'm like I win at everything that I do or anything like that, but like, you know, you get out of life what you put into it, or you get out of like, if you're put in a situation where you have to do something that's not necessarily something you want to do, like try to find a takeaway that you can, like, if you got to go and do sales to pay your mortgage, like learn how to be good at sales, because that skill is like, that's universally, it's a universal skill that you can use in just about anything. Like you combine that with like another skill and now you've got a business, right?
Yeah, totally. So what happens after that? So like,
yeah, so I mean that was like 2009, and so we had this new business that was starting up, and we didn't have an office anymore. We were working in my garage, which was cold. It was like winter, and my business partner, like, he doesn't like the cold. Like he was getting like chattery with his teeth, and like, so I started looking on Craigslist for like kind of like a shared workspace type thing, right? And I found this company that was pretty close to us, and they were offering that type of arrangement, but they were also looking for somebody to help with social media. And I'm like, well, we know social media, so I went down there and I pitched them, and I'm like, I don't got any money though right now. Like some shitty things happened. We're digging ourselves out of a hole, and this is actually where we met our other business partner right now. He's like, well, how about this? You guys don't have to pay us anything. You can come down here and work, and like each month as you progress, you can pay us a little bit more until we get to like that agreed point. And like, it was honestly $100 after like 3 months. Like that's how, I don't know whether he saw like the potential or what, but So we went down there, we worked with them, slowly worked up to the point where we're paying about $1,000 a month. But I was still working at Bell. Like I was still working at Bell for, God, probably 2 years after that. And at some point, Brad, who's the partner who has had the place, he's like, well, would you guys be interested in doing a merger with Canadian Traveler, which he owned, and Explore Magazine, which some other guys owned. And you can bring in InfoBarrel, which was the project that we were working on this whole time, and it can kind of be the framework for the new websites for these businesses. And we're like, yeah. And honestly, InfoBarrel had gone up to like this, like it had grown to be like I can't even remember the exact numbers, but 3-4 million visitors a month. And then all these Google penalties came in and started knocking us down. So we were kind of on like a downward trend. So I was like, you want to do a merger? Fuck yeah, I'm in. Let's do this, right? Let's sign up. I'd love something else that wasn't to work on something else that wasn't stressful. Because I was like, I was actually in this period at a point where I'm like, I don't even know if I'm cut out for this anymore. Like we've been losing, like
everything you do, like it just went downhill.
Yeah, like
you
everything.
Build it up and
so many times, right? And like it takes a toll on you when you win for a bit and then you lose and then you're back trying to I don't know, like I can see how people stop early in the game because you put in all this work and it doesn't feel like you ever get anywhere.
Yeah.
So I had actually quit selling cell phones, and my father-in-law is a longshoreman. He'd given me what's it called, an invitation or whatever it is to become a longshoreman, which they make really, really good money for like a 9-to-5 job, right?
Yeah.
So I took it, and it gave me a little bit more freedom again, and I was working random hours with that, but that idea was going through my head prior to this merger. I'm like, I don't know, like, do I really want to keep stressing out about this? Like, do I really want to keep grinding? Do I really want to keep trying to solve this one problem over and over again? And the opportunity to merge kind of came at the perfect time. And through that, we wound up buying BC Magazine probably about a year after. And then we wound up having a bit of we decided to part ways with the two of the partners that brought Explore in, and they took BC Mag, we took Explore. And that's kind of right after that is really when things started to change for us. And that was 2016.
So based on everything I'm hearing, I mean, you seem like a serial entrepreneur, internet serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Building websites that get up to 3 to 4 million visitors. That's huge. So you know how to do Google SEO. Are you more of the tech guy, or are you more like the visionary? Like what role did you play? Are you the guy like doing the crazy coding and stuff like that in the back?
No. So Kevin is he's our developer. I did go to school for it for a while before I accidentally dropped out. But it's a whole other story. Yeah. I'm probably more in like the visionary and
like
the
marketing guy,
marketing side of things,
right.
And like that's really my forte.
Right. So even before 2016, because right now you're involved in e-commerce, like D2C, like
Yep.
physical products, which is what I'd love to chat with you about in like 1 minute. But before that, you didn't really do any sort of D2C consumer physical products. It's more just SEO and affiliate marketing, subscription, stuff like that.
You pretty much nailed it. I mean, we did a bit of PPC and a bit of Facebook ads, driving traffic to content. But our primary thing was like either sell advertising or affiliate marketing.
Got it. So talk to me about what happened after 2016. Okay. So you said things turned for the better, and you probably quit your job as a longshoreman.
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about 2016.
Cracked open the trust fund, and everything worked out perfectly after that. No, I have no trust fund. So after that, like, I kind of actually we wanted to start selling more stuff through Explore or through any of these brands for that matter. Our partners were just more into the advertising side of things, and we did sell magazine subscriptions, so that was like a physical thing that we sold. But it was like October. I can't remember exactly when it was, but basically in the summer of 2000, I want to say 16. I got Ryan Levesque's book Ask. And
you got what?
Ryan Levesque. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's like an internet marketing guru.
Okay.
I'd actually before that I read Ryan Dice's Invisible Selling Machine, which is Ryan Dice from Digital Marketer. And I had rolled out that funnel, just selling magazine subscriptions. It was working great. I was actually with a lead magnet and a simple funnel. I was positive return on ad spend, like big time. So about a month or two into that, read Ryan's book, which kind of like really kicked me down this trail of like, hey, I got his like little mastermind group, and I'm like, I think maybe I'm gonna start selling like some info products, and maybe I'll sell. We kicked around the idea of subscription boxes because that was getting really popular at the time.
Yeah.
So like literally, man, like one day, I just I went and found a piece of software that could do the subscriptions. I used Bold, something for Bold and Shopify, and I just sent an email to my list, and we sold like 100 subscription boxes the first 2 or 3 days, and it wound up going up to about 130 for the first box. And Brad and I actually packaged these in this tiny little office, just him and I drinking some Baileys and packaging outdoor gear. And so from there, I was like, well, we got to grow this thing. Let's try it. I mean, 100 subscribers is nothing. Like, it's not a lot of money. But so I threw up some ads on Facebook. And I was already pretty familiar with Facebook ads. I did quite a bit. But like the first ad I threw up was getting like 2,700% return on ad spend. Like it was nuts. So we scaled it to, I want to say like 1,500 boxes for the next season. Like we do our boxes quarterly, and then it continued to grow until I think that one capped out somewhere around 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers after about a year and a half.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of the first foray into that, and then we're like, well, let's try another one. So we were working with Canada-wide media, which is like BC Business, BC Living, Real Weddings, TV Week, a whole bunch of like local BC magazines. And they wanted to do some stuff with BC Living. So we were like, okay, well, let's try launching like a women's lifestyle beauty box. And that's the Simply Beautiful box. And I don't know if the numbers now, if it's still the biggest box in Canada, but it wound up being like the biggest women's box in Canada. It was like massive. Same thing, scaled it to like, first one was around 100, and then the next box was like well over 1,000, and at its peak it was like 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers. So
all using Facebook ads.
Facebook ads, a little bit of Google, tiny bit of Pinterest, but like those are the prime drivers, yeah.
So what are you working on now? I think the laundry brand that you have right now is kind of is that kind of your main focus right now?
Yeah, like in terms of like my stuff, yeah, like we launched that. So the laundry detergent brand is called True Earth. TRU space EARTH, and we launched that in April and
19.
April 2019, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we launched it as a subscription product as well. You get your laundry detergent sent to you every month, never run out. The product's like weighs 6% of regular standard laundry detergent, so it's like super light, doesn't take up any space, doesn't make any mess. It's pre-measured, blah 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 blah. But I mean, honestly, like my goal for this year was, to get a couple thousand subscribers maybe. And this thing has like completely surpassed anything I've ever done in the past. And like lots of these other businesses are, multi 7-figure businesses. We're well over 15,000 subscribers right now.
Wow.
And about 65% of all people that purchase wind up subscribing, either initially or 65% of people subscribe on their first purchase.
Wow. You taught me a pretty cool trick to get subscribers.
Yeah. The price anchoring thing.
Yeah. Do you want to share that with people? Or?
For sure.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ask how you could take like a traditional product or any sort of consumable, anything really. Like we subscribe people to all sorts of different stuff: beeswax wraps, makeup removers. But this little trick works like tremendously well, especially if you're using Facebook ads or something. So what I like to do is I price the subscription at the price point that I actually want to get paid for the product. And then I will position the one-time purchase price as 30 to 50% more than the cost of the subscription. And as long as you make it clear that this is like a subscription product, like it's insane the amount of people that will take the subscription option just because they want to save money. And if it's a product that like actually that's consumable and you actually will use, and it's a quality product, which I mean, realistically, if you're selling stuff, you should be trying to sell things that are useful for people. Like it's a good habit builder, right? So like for us.
Don't sell shitty products. Sell
Yeah.
good products.
Yeah, you don't sell shitty products. If you're going to sell shitty products, you
there's one lesson you can learn from this podcast is sell good products.
Yeah. I mean, if you're selling a shitty product on subscription, you can't expect to have long-term customers, right?
Right.
So that was one lesson. I mean, another, sorry, I'm gonna step back. The other thing that does really well with consumables or anything really that you're putting on subscription, especially basically consumables, is offer more of what you're already offering them. So like we get a 50%, like probably 48% of people that buy take our order bump. If you don't know what an order bump is, it's like an upsell. I know you do, but for anybody that's listening, if you don't know what an order bump is, it's like an offer right before you submit your cart. And we get about 50% of people taking that order bump. It's only, I think it's 12% off, but it's the other, like in this particular case, we have like a fresh linen and unscented. So if you're buying fresh linen, we'll be like, hey, you want to try the unscented too? Grab a second pack of the other flavor or scent and save 12%. And we almost get 50% of people taking that. So that's an instant AOV booster. And then we obviously, or not obviously, but depending on what world you're in, if you're in like a Shopify environment or I don't know what other carts there are out there, but a lot of times you can do like a one-click upsell post-purchase or a sequence of them. And we drive up AOV quite a bit by offering like our stack right now is like, want to save some money on drying your clothes too, and maybe save the environment. We also offer these dryer balls. You can save right now by taking this one-time special offer, and then we offer them a year's supply. And like 3 or 4% of people take the year supply, which really helps bring up our AOV. And then we also offer another subscription to beeswax wraps. So we don't send new ones every month, but it's like a 90-day subscription. And we've almost got 1,000 people that are subscribed just to that off the back end.
Oh, that's the back end. That's not a front end offer.
No, that's all back end. Like after you buy, so you don't have to put your credit card info again.
Right.
You can just be like, yes, I'll take it. Yes, I'll take it. Yes, I'll take it. But
right.
the first offer is already complete.
Right. What's your? Actually, I'd love to ask you this. Like, what do you find the best tech stack to be when it comes to one-click ups? There's so many text things and. For someone who's not so tech savvy and having trouble to set these up, there's definitely a lot of apps out there that makes it quite easy nowadays.
Yeah.
What is your preferred method of tech?
So, we have our own tech as a whole. It's like we have our own proprietary software.
Oh, you don't use like...
No, but I do. Majority of our stuff is on it. I do have some like Shopify stores and stuff like that. So if I was using Shopify, I'd probably use Ezra Firestone's one-click upsell, or Zipify one-click upsell. Yeah. I've used it quite a bit. It's pretty good.
It's good.
We have one store that uses bold upsells, but they're like pre-purchase upsells. So before the cart, like not even like at the cart, but like on the pre-checkout level, there'll be like, do you want to add this? Do you want to add this? And it works pretty well. They're really great for up in the AOV.
So it seems like you build a lot of businesses around subscription.
Mm-hmm. An accurate statement.
so what is it about subscription businesses that is like, why are you keep launching subscription model businesses?
For sure. So like, my background's primarily direct response and now I'm getting more into the branding and direct response. But the goal typically with direct response is to come as close to break even as possible on the front end. If you're making profit on the front end, the goal is, anybody that's worth their salt in direct response will typically say that you want to spend your way to break even. Instead of like if you're making 2x ROAS or return on ad spend on the front end of a front end sale, realistically that just means, as far as I'm concerned, that I have a fuck ton of space to continue to scale before things get dangerous. And the reason why I say that is because your goal shouldn't be to make, and this is why drop shipping a lot of times is not the best business model for the long term, because you make one sale and typically they have a bad experience with the shipping or whatever, right? So the idea is break even on the front end, and then I want to keep this person as a customer for as long as physically possible. And being on a subscription really makes that simple because I know I'm getting money from them each and every month.
So, I mean, you make it sound very easy, right? Just like, oh, let's get these people on subscription. But in terms of, other than offering a good product, I believe that's by far, you can't have a shit product and expect people to so subscribe to it. So that's, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But other than that, do you have kind of like more touch points to those customers, maybe more email follow-ups to keep their loyalty? Keep their subscription, or like what does that look like after?
So like, I mean, post-purchase, we have a few more, we try to tell them, like in a perfect environment, we try to indoctrinate kind of like our core values.
Right.
Give them some stories so that they can kind of become the
like
cliche hero's journey, whatever, right? And then we will typically offer them some more options to purchase things or whatever. But it depends on the brand. Like with Explore, if you're part of like our Gearbox or our Adventure Challenge Club, we have like a private community where we have like special guests and we get discounts and that they're really, really nurtured over there. We're intending on doing that with True Earth as well, except for the rate that we've grown. It's a lot of work to manage community, right?
Yeah.
So we've just kind of like been holding off a little bit, but we do offer like promotions. We just had a huge Black Friday sale. Like I'm sure just about everybody under the sun did. But outside of like the subscription people, we kind of like more or less let them be. And we have social media and stuff that kind of gives them updates on where we are with. It's like we're trying to keep as much plastic out of landfills as possible. So we try to update them kind of on that dialogue. Like I think we're right now around 250,000 plastic jugs kept out of landfills by having people switch to our zero waste packaging, right? But with people that don't take the subscription option, we typically follow up every like 35 days and we have like 3 or 4 different emails in an automation that basically says, hey, I'm guessing you're probably running low on laundry detergent. You can either, if you'd like to keep using the product, you can either buy more as a one-time offer here, or here's a couple different ways that you can subscribe.
How did you get into this laundry? Because I heard it's like a proprietary. It's not just like a.
It's patented, yeah.
It's patented, right?
Yeah.
So from the sound of it, you didn't patent the product.
No.
Nor did you invent it. So how did you give us a little background on how you even get into this business in the first place?
Yeah, it's a business partner. A business partner of mine, or my business partner, somebody he's close to was an investor. And just they kind of talked about like where the product was and how it was doing originally. And, when they found out that we have done so much subscription products, they're like, well, maybe there's a fit. And it took a while to actually come to fruition. But like, honestly, when I first heard about it, it sounded cool, but I'm like, man, it's like, it's an inexpensive product. That's going to be really tough to work with, right?
Right.
And then we kind of got closer and closer to the deal date, and I'm like, okay, well, I better figure something out. And I was having a shower one day, and I'm sure
the best thoughts come from the showers.
Yeah. My brain exploded. I'm like trying to get out and grab my phone and be like, okay, got to write all this stuff down that I just thought of, and then I got really excited about it, and then. I don't know if you've ever the night before launch. It's like the night before Christmas, right? I'm laying in bed thinking oh man, this is gonna be huge. But then you're thinking is it gonna be huge? Maybe it's not gonna be huge. Maybe maybe I've just worked this up in my head. I'm biased. And we did when we launched it. It launched okay. Day one, I think we sold 7, and I was like, okay, well that's anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of ads being tested, and then one of them started getting legs. And the second day, I think we sold, 20 or something. And then it kept on going up and going up and going up. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is a thing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's continued. Mm-hmm. That's kind of I'm really long-winded, so.
Yeah. So my specialty is definitely Amazon FBA. That's kind of the space that I've kind of lived in for a little while, but I'm ready to come out of that space and really learn how to build a true brand. I went to HustleCon. That was such an amazing experience. Yeah. People there were doing over $100 million a year with their D2C brands, crazy acquisitions. But in terms of kind of building that brand off of Amazon, let's say Amazon never existed and you have to find your own customers. Talk to us a little bit about like the different pieces of the puzzle that you have to have in order to actually get a subscription business going. So you said about you have to have different ads, which I assume is super important. All those ads drive to where, and then what happens after that? What happens if they don't buy? Like, can you just kind of map out from a 20,000 overview, like what the entire funnel kind of looks like?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, most of my funnels are really simple. Like, especially when a product is inexpensive, retargeting isn't quite as effective. I mean, it is effective, don't get me wrong, especially when you have a sale or something like that, but our conversion rate's pretty good most of the time, like around 5 to 6% right now. So basically, we have a top of funnel. We have different, a few different creatives that speak to a few different avatars. Since we are in the environmental space, I basically can't talk about any of that type of stuff to majority of the planet, just because Facebook it's considered social politics. Whatever, basically Donald Trump stuff screwed over everybody for doing environmental ads. But so I have to speak to the Americans and Europeans differently than I can talk to Canadians. Like I can still say whatever I want in Australia because they don't have any laws or rules pertaining to that. But so anyways, we have a few different top of funnel creatives. And
who designed those creatives?
Actually, most of them are me. Again, I'm not like a graphic artist. I just
you have the vision. Like
honestly, the first ad that won, man, I took my phone, I went over to my laundry machine, I pulled out a laundry strip, put my phone back, I snapped a picture of it, put my phone down. Actually, it had the package on it, and it had the laundry machine on it. And it was a fluke, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, I have a lot of experience with Facebook ads or whatever, but I tried doing it again without I thought it was just showing the strip that was doing well. But I did a couple other ones like out in Rocky Point in Port Moody, like in front of flowers and in front of a dock, and those ones didn't convert. It was like the laundry detergent, like anyways, I mostly do my own. I use a creative agency called No Limit Creative. Jeff Minenbach owns that. It's kind of like self-directed. I just basically give directions on what I want. And a lot of it I'll do through them now. I'm talking to somebody else that I'm in the process of possibly signing a deal with somebody that does a very popular brand right now. I can't say it until it's done, but that's kind of the next phase for me is upgrading the kind of a process. Like I'm big on brand and whatnot, but I like to validate my businesses before I go all the way down that rabbit hole because it's a lot of work to go and create a brand before you even know if the product's going to fly. And native content or native looking content has a tendency to do pretty well. Like a person with the product doing whatever it is the product does is oftentimes more than enough to sell the click, get them off of Facebook, off the like dopamine hit distraction central of the world, and get them to your copy where you can hopefully convince them to purchase, right? So majority of my stuff, I would say 90% of all of my ads are top of funnel. We have a little bit of middle of funnel, which will be like testimonial videos, like stitched together, or like pictures of influencers using the product or smiling or being happy. And then we'll have like bottom of the funnel stuff. Sometimes we'll offer like a 10% off discount. But one other thing, actually, I just started doing this recently and it's working really well, is I'll have like a promo to get an annual subscription. And I throw in like a set of dryer balls and it's like $135. And so bottom of the funnel, I'll retarget everybody who's been to add to cart in the last 90 days with this special offer. And since majority of my ads are like one times ROAS or one return on ad spend or less, these ones are clocking in at 4 to 8, and it's not completely fixing my return on ad spend challenges, but it helps even it out a bit.
I think one of the misconceptions that I personally have, I don't know where this came from, it's like a limiting belief almost. I feel like it's like you have to have a really nice website to drive traffic to. Like the website is so important, and like the way it looks. Like I went on your website, honestly, it just looks like it was something that was created by
It's created by me.
Yeah.
I'm not a designer.
Yeah, but it was very simple. Like it was just so simple. Do you feel like, talk to me a little bit about kind of the website flow. Like once people get to your website,
Sure.
do you kind of have a structure of like, okay, can you talk to us a little bit about the structure, like testimonial, this, that, like what does that look like?
Yeah, so I mean, the really easiest. I should probably learn how to speak English before I talk on this show. An easy way to look at a landing page or like psychology of a human being as a whole is it's called transactional psychology, and it's like if you look it up, you can use it for just about anything, whether you want to convince somebody to do something or you want to sell somebody something. And basically, I was in a group with a guy named Travis Sago. I paid him some money to teach me some of his stuff a while ago. He has an acronym for it. It's called CAP. It's child. Like if you want to sell somebody, you got to sell to the child. You got to sell to the adult. You got to sell to the parent. The child's the emotional part. Like that's the part that you like see a headline. You're like, oh my God, laundry. I don't have to spill it on myself anymore. And like I'm going to get my cupboard space back. Oh my God, that's amazing. I might be able to jam some more towels in there. My life's going to be complete. So that's kind of like your hook. That's basically what sells the click, what gets them excited, and then the person's going to go from there and be like, the adult in them's going to stand up and then be like, well, I like this idea, but like does this really make sense? Like what's the kitchen table logic behind it? And that's kind of like where you'll see like bullet points or like feature benefits. And
more like rational, more logic.
Not so much rational, but just like basically being like, yeah, I could use it for that. Yeah, like because typically like if you read a headline and you're emotionally connected to it, you're gonna be biased towards positive. So like you're gonna like it's like kind of like why smart people typically are actually more susceptible to bias because they look for facts to back up their idea.
Right. Yeah.
So if you like the hook, like if you like the claim or whatever it is, the next part is just selling yourself with logic. So
backing it up with facts.
Yeah, backing it up with facts.
So people can be like, oh yeah, like this is.
Yeah, but not like objection busting stuff now. Just like so that they can visualize themselves, whatever, using that product or like they can see the benefit. And then the parent is like the skeptical person. That's like skeptical parent. Like, oh, you've tried like 10 laundry detergents before, like. None of them ever work the way they're like intended to work, and you've been burned by this before. What makes this different? And that's where like stuff like social proof, like the star, like your testimonials, how many star ratings there are, and you can kind of cheat this a little bit by putting the stars near the top, where when somebody gets the emotional side of things, you can immediately like prime them or pre-frame their expectation to be like, oh, there's like 2,000 5-star reviews already. So like they know that like you kind of busted a bit in the front. But anyways, the parent is basically convincing the person what's different about this than other things they've tried before. Risk reversal. So is there a money back guarantee? Right. This is more the rationale side of things. Like what makes us different than other products? Or like you might see the opportunity switch or whatever it's called, where like you can continue down the same path. You have two options right now. You can either continue down the same path and experiencing your laundry the same way it's always been in the past. Stains all over your cupboard, spills all over your washing machine, or you can switch to this new method, and you can buy it, or you can buy True Earth today, switch to this new method, and regain your cupboard space, and never have to deal with spills and mess again. And your back will help you. Your back will be happy too.
Right. So what landing page software, like tool wise, do you recommend?
Ours is proprietary, but it's not like it's great software, but it's pretty raw. So like I would say landing page speed is a thing, but a lot of people use ClickFunnels or Unbounce, or I've used lead pages quite a bit.
Yeah.
But
does Ezra has his own landing page?
He does.
Because that's probably easier to integrate with his one-click upsell too, right?
100%. Like if you're using Shopify, Ezra has. I actually use this sometimes too. What's it called? Zipify Pages. That's what it's called.
Zipify Pages. Yeah. That's right.
And it's actually really cool because it's got like timers and all sorts of stuff built into it.
So you make it sound really doable. That's because you have 20 years of internet marketing experience. That helps, I think, a little bit.
A little bit.
You've been through the ups and downs, so you kind of learn a thing along the way. What would you say the hardest part, what would you say the most challenging part about building a subscription model is? And For some people that might be listening to the podcast, they're like, oh, I want to build a subscription model. Like, what are some of the things that you think they will run into? Acquiring customers cheap at the beginning, like all these different things.
Yeah, I mean, the two big things are like with any business, like at least online business, your acquisitions are probably going to be cheaper when you start, and if they're close to like break even right at the beginning, you're probably up for a little bit more challenging of a path. The other thing, and if you do have success, is the customer service side of things, especially on a lower ticket product that has a lot of volume. Like, man, we'll sometimes have like 1,200 emails in our queue, and we have 3 full-time customer care reps. Plus, we've just started using a customer service company to help scale the emails, just because it's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, the customer service side of things, especially like I said, on a more inexpensive product, where you have a lot of customers, you need that infrastructure.
Right.
So be prepared. Like, find a way that you're going to be able to cover it, because you're going to basically do it for like 2 weeks. And then I ran it for the first 2 weeks just so I could create standard operating procedures for our customer service team, our customer care team. And like after 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, I can't juggle this anymore.
Right.
And you'll get somebody else in there. And if you're growing, it's like, it's fun to grow. It's like super fun to grow.
Yeah.
But you break things.
How much, just to give everybody a context, like how much money per month approximately are you spending on Facebook right now? Like buying ads? Like north of?
Well, just on this one brand, probably this month I'll probably spend over 300,000.
Wow.
Like there's days where I've spent like 25,000 or more.
So you're obviously you're very, very much experienced in buying ads on Facebook. What would you say, because I recently came back from HustleCon, and a lot of these big direct-to-consumer brands also buy a lot of ads on Facebook. And a lot of them are noticing the ad cost is going way up, it's getting more expensive. Actually, a funny story is, do you know Moise from Native Deodorant?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so he shared a funny story about how, because his deodorants are like $12, right? So
Yeah.
it's super low ticket.
Yeah.
And this one, I think 2016, 17 Q4, the ad cost was getting way too expensive, where he had to stop all ads. And he actually used the money that he had raised to actually buy Facebook ad stocks. Because he's like, I've noticed that ads spend is going so much higher. Therefore, I think Facebook is going to have such a killer quarter.
Yeah.
So in Q1, when they released their earnings, he actually made a lot of money from Facebook ad stock.
That's hilarious.
I think he took the money to continue buying Facebook ads. But for you, especially the fact that you sell such a low ticket item, it's like $16 or something?
Yeah.
15, 16?
That's like 13 on subscription or $20.
Right. Super low ticket item. So every single penny counts for your business. Mm-hmm. What have you seen the trend of kind of the Facebook ecosystem, and does that worry you at all, or what do you have to say about that?
So I mean, there's two components to that, right? Like, yeah, your ad costs do go up over time. Like, I mean, that's just partially an effect of the breakdown effect, which is that like when you first start or ads for a particular like product, Facebook's able to go and find you discount purchases, and what happens over time is like it knows these people are like buy a lot of stuff, and as the people that have a really good product market fit go away, there's two things that are going to happen. Obviously, there's supply and demand, and the cost of Facebook ads goes up over time. Mm-hmm. But also, there becomes less qualified people to purchase your product. Right, and
maybe they've seen like they buy your products already, ad fatigue, and mm-hmm. all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think ad fatigue is as real as people like to say.
Right.
I run pretty similar creatives over and over and over again,
and it works.
Right. I think what's actually happening in a lot of cases is the breakdown effect. Like, they're just not able to find that product market fit for the same price they were able to earlier. And then obviously the supply and demand issue where the cost of Facebook ads have gone up. And I have 100% seen that happen. Like when we first launched this, I was getting like $10, $12, under $20 CPAs like all day.
Right.
And like now I'm shooting for like, I'm happy with like sub 40. But I also realize other things like the Amazon lift that I get from this spend.
Yeah, because a lot of people see the ad and they go on Amazon to find your product.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, like I mean, I'll sell like 500 or 400 sales direct to consumer in a day, and I'll do like 300 on Amazon.
That's crazy.
And I'm spending like maybe $400 a day on Amazon ads. I'm not spending a lot.
Right.
We built the category, and just basically people just, one thing that, here's another little nugget that I like to use. I like to use blended attribution. So I take all my spend and I divide it across all of my purchases. So whether it's Facebook or it's Amazon, because like I said, the more I spend on Facebook, the more people buy on Amazon.
Right.
So like, and Facebook, there's no attribution to the sales that happen on Amazon on the Facebook side. So like, you're going to shut off an ad that's really getting you significantly more revenue. Like if I'm getting 0.8 return on ad spend on Facebook direct to consumer, I'm probably actually getting like 1.3 or something, just because a bunch of people are going and buying direct.
True.
Or sorry, not buying direct, buying from Amazon.
Buying Amazon. No, that's what I noticed. It's like someone sees a brand, like, oh, that's cool. Let me go buy on Amazon because it's Amazon Prime. I get it in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of Amazon?
I mean, it's fine. I just started using Amazon like in June, but I see some negative things like tied to
you don't know who your customers are.
You don't know who your customers
That's a big
are.
one.
Yeah, it's huge, right? You don't know who your customers are.
You can't market to them.
Can't market to them. I mean, you can with DSP, I guess, but like the way I look at it is it's another channel. So it's basically a leverage point. Like if I spend $600,000 on Facebook ads and I make $250,000 on Amazon as a side effect of my Facebook spend, whatever, I'm okay with it. Those people were probably only going to buy from Amazon anyways.
Yeah.
But I never specifically push my customers to Amazon. If they go there on their own, so be it.
Right. Cool, man. Well, yeah, I mean, I want to wrap it up because parking finished at 3 and we have 20 minutes, and I actually want to chat with you about some other stuff off the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
For those who want to listen to what we're going to talk about off the podcast, you have to do my subscription service of behind the scenes of the Tom Wang Show. Click on that link below, and it'll take you to a landing page, and you'll have. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway,
30 seconds to buy.
Yeah, 30 seconds. That's it. Okay, cool, man. Ryan, I mean, for people that that resonate with your story, that you're very. I mean, I think you're one of the most experienced guys that I've ever had on the podcast because you just kind of been around the block. Like you've tried so many different things online. It's kind of cool. If anybody want to connect with you, is there any way that I can reach you? Email, Facebook, Instagram, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a big social media poster, but you can find me on Facebook. Like my business profile is facebook.com/the Rye, RYE Mackenzie, MCKEN Z or Z, depending on what country you live in, IE.
Cool.
And same Twitter handle. I think I might even have the same Instagram handle, or maybe it's just Rye Mackenzie on the other two.
Cool.
But yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to the viewers? Anything that you want to say that you didn't get to say? I guess.
No, man. I just people. I think that people have a limiting belief that people aren't going to take their subscription for some reason, and I mean, I get it. It seems like even like sometimes when I'm creating ads, I don't include the fact that it's a subscription. I let them tell them on the landing page. But I think people are more open to the idea of having or simplifying their life than they are of the idea that they're getting stuck paying something, especially if it's consumable. I would, if you've got a product and you've been on the fence, I mean, it's usually as simple as adding another button to your landing page.
Right. And
just like finding a service, like if you're on Shopify, like bold subscriptions or Recurly, there's a bunch of them, but plug it in, try it out. Nobody buys it, shut it off. They're usually pretty cheap and a percentage of your fee. And if they do buy it, you just automatically basically increase your returning customers without really any effort.
Yeah. And so one last question, actually. Is there a sweet spot for subscription? 1 month? I mean, I think it depends a lot on the product, but 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Is that a valid question at all, or it depends on the product?
It depends what it is. Like a subscription box, for me, quarterly is what I prefer to do because setting up a subscription box is a ton of work. Getting all the products, all the logistics behind it, it's rough. So we do quarterly there. With the detergent, we originally started with just monthly.
Yeah.
And we found that people wanted less frequent deliveries for people that are like single or two people. So for us, we have like monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, and every 6 months.
Got it. What's the most common?
It's about a 3-way split between monthly, bi-monthly, and quarterly.
Bi-monthly, so bi-weekly.
Sorry,
Bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly is every second month.
Every second
so
month.
it's basically 33, 33, 33.
Got it.
Surprisingly. I mean, not really surprisingly. Families need monthly.
Right.
Yeah. So
sweet, man.
Yeah.
Well, for those listeners checking out, check out Ryan's product and use my coupon code. I don't have one, but try enter it in and save 25%. Let's have an affiliate deal in the back. He's actually sponsoring this podcast too. It's $1 for him to sponsor, so he'll get a positive return on ad spend, I hope. But anyway, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Ryan. It's been great, and you know your shit. So it's cool for me to learn. A lot of these podcasts I do out of selfish reason too, because I want to learn from guys like you, and it's just cool to see what everybody's doing, because everybody's got their own little way to make money and online and stuff like that. So it's really eye-opening, I guess. So, guys, if you are listening to the end of this podcast, I just want to take a second to say thank you. I appreciate you for listening, and if you can encourage me by doing more of these, all you got to do is leave me a review on iTunes or Spotify. If you're on YouTube, just comment something below. Hit me up on Instagram, tom.com.ig, and just let me know how you like these, because ultimately I do these partially for me, but a lot for you guys as well, and it's very enjoyable when I get a review. So it means a lot to me if you guys can do that, and otherwise I'll see you guys in the next episode.